Hello, I'm Lucy Antonatos. Welcome to PodLab, Experiments in Audience Growth, a mini-series produced by podcasting MA students at City St George's, University of London. In this episode, we explore what's involved in launching and marketing a new podcast. We hear from actor and podcaster Rachel Shelley in the run-up to the launch of her new podcast, The 94%. We discuss her show's concept and target audience and what Rachel's doing to get her podcast discovered.
My name is Rachel Shelley and I am a podcast producer and host and broadcaster.
I've heard you've got a new show. Can you tell me a little bit about the podcast, the format, etc., and how the idea came about?
So I have a new show, a new podcast. It's called The 94%. Came about because I have a friend who was Ireland's most capped athlete for quite a long time. She's a field hockey player. And she told me about a bit of research which was done by EY. And they found out that 94% of women working in C-suite executive roles played sport in their younger days. And that little stat just blew me away. I was so convinced that there was a podcast to be made talking to the 94%. And so Nikki and I, because she is this wonderful elite athlete, decided to team up and start talking to some of these women, some of the 94%. And we made it a bit wider. So it's not just women who work in corporate settings, but women who are successful in all walks of life, in whatever profession. So it's all about how does sport shape us and inform us and make us the people we are today. And our catchphrase is sport spawns success.
Great. And do you have an ideal listener in mind?
Well, an ideal listener is probably a gay woman. I have to be honest about a lot of my sort of fan base, if I struggle to call it a fan base, but a lot of my followers maybe are lesbian women because I, in a previous incarnation, was an actress for 5 years on a TV show called The L Word, which was huge, L standing for love, but as well lesbian. And so I have quite a fan base there, I suppose. And Nikki is also a gay woman. And so between us, I suppose our ideal listener is a young gay woman up to a middle-aged, older gay woman, as I am not gay, but I'm in my 50s. So it's quite a spread. And it's about appealing to women to play sport, to stay active, take up a new sport, whatever age you are, and encourage your daughters, or if you're a young woman yourself, to start playing sport because it teaches you so much more than just keeping fit.
And did you carry out any kind of audience research before launching the podcast?
Not really research. I think a lot of the time you go into these things because you're passionate about it, and we both are passionate. I have a teenage daughter, and I've seen her slide off the scale of sport, and I find that disappointing. I'm passionate about it, and Nikki, as an elite athlete, she is obviously very passionate about sport. So I guess research was only to see whether there was anything like it, and no one had picked up that statistic before and run with it. I've got all these sporting metaphors now that I use all the time, like on and off the field. So no one had picked that up before. We did find quite quickly, it was too late though, that Private Eye has a podcast called Page 94. And I think when you do searches and so on, it can get a bit confusing. We are not Private Eye, although we would like to have their numbers.
What is the gap in the market that you're looking to fill with your podcast?
I think there are so many podcasts talking to sports people and about elite sports and about competitive sport. It's great if you are an elite athlete, but I think more and more there are women. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that women weren't even allowed to run in marathons. When you think about that, it was the 70s, wasn't it? When the first woman, they tried to hold her back, tried to stop her. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I think the fact that women are now encouraged and able to run, just go running, go for a run, do a triathlon. So I think the gap in the market is for women who enjoy sport all want to do sport and want their girls, their daughters to play sport, to encourage sport and to talk about the life lessons, whether you're elite, whether you come last in every race, it doesn't matter. It's about the taking part.
Absolutely. Do you have a strategy for getting the podcast discovered?
We were very lucky because of, like I say, that my fan base, as it were, it happens to be Lesbian Visibility Week. This week, it's the third week in April. And I'm appearing on a panel that is run by various different lesbian, gay organizations. And they have helped us, they have given us one of their marketing teams to help with social media strategy. That's about the extent of it. We're promoting some of our videos on Instagram. It's pretty basic. It's a limited series. We're hoping that after a few episodes, we will get funding. We have had a little bit of funding already, dribs and drabs, but that has all gone to our guests.
So just thinking about SEO, so like in your title, in your show title, your episode titles, in your show notes, is that something that you've been working on?
Yes, I'm always trying to improve that as best I can. Like I say, it's my co-host, Nikki Simmons, has a full-time job. I'm freelance, so it's as much as I can do. And as much as we both can do, we try and divvy up a lot of the work. But yeah, discoverability, like I say, it's very much for us, sort of who we know, trying to encourage them to collaborate with us on posts, to talk about it where they can, and to promote where we can. It's a lot of personal contacts, people in the media that we know who we can persuade to write a piece or on social media.
Thinking about engagement and retention of listeners, how are you going to encourage listeners to stick with you and become loyal fans of the show?
Because we're a limited series, I think it's a little bit different. We're not asking people to write into us. We're not asking people to get involved in that way or to answer questions. We haven't got that reach. If it turns into something where we have a second series, if it's popular, then we'll definitely do that. I think involvement really is listening and hopefully inspiring women to play more sport and get involved.
Are you able just to share then what success would look like for you?
Success for us would be a healthy listening number, which is very hard, and always surprised at how low a healthy listening number is. Something like 50% of podcasts don't even get a couple of hundred listens per episode. I remember looking at the stats, and they are really deflating, actually. It's something like if within 7 days of releasing a podcast episode, if you've got over 200 or 300 listens, then you're in the top 50% of podcasts. It's very low. It's a very low number. So success would be to get a nice number. We feel we are evergreen. We're not really going to go out of date because these are people talking about their past experiences, how they've shaped them now. So they've got a long shelf life, which is good for a limited series. We would like to be picked up by a great platform. We've been talking to Billie Jean King Foundation in America, but also Goalhanger here in the UK. That's Gary Lineker's platform. They don't have anything like this, which isn't about elite sports. It's just about women in sport and encouraging activity.
And what about exploring with a branded podcast idea?
Absolutely love to do that. I think that would be a wonderful connection. And actually, we're surprised that that hasn't happened already. What we're worried about, I have to say, and what could quite possibly happen, but you heard it here first, is that someone else is going to hear this and run with it with a bigger name, with big sponsorship behind it. But hey, that's the risky take.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed Rachel Shelley's insights. You can hear more about building a podcast community in the next episode of PodLab Experiments in Audience Growth, coming soon on City Sounds. You can also find our other shows, including the City Magazine Show, the Pilot Series, and the Local Haunt by searching City Sounds wherever you get your podcasts.